guns, gold, and geopolitics.
Power shifts the moment the mathematics holding the world together stops working. Quantum computing has left the realm of speculation. It now exists inside controlled laboratories operated by IBM, Google, IonQ, Rigetti, and multiple state-funded research programs. Their machines remain limited, but the direction is unmistakable. Qubit counts rise, error rates fall, architectures stabilize. The NATO Cybersecurity Center treats this progression as an active and material threat to global security. In the United States, the first post-quantum cryptographic standards were finalized by NIST in 2022, signaling the beginning of a mandatory global shift away from classical encryption. China leads the world in state-funded quantum research. Its National Laboratory for Quantum Information Science in Hefei is a purpose-built complex designed to coordinate hardware development, quantum communications, and fundamental physics research at national scale. China has demonstrated long-distance quantum key distribution along its Beijing-Shanghai fiber line and tested satellite-based entanglement experiments through the Meteus satellite. These are not prototypes, they are strategic demonstrations. The United States takes a distributed approach. NIST handles standards, the NSA coordinates secure communications, DARPA pushes architectures, the National Science Foundation manages academic acceleration. The strategy is dual-track: advance quantum capability while building global adoption of quantum-resistant cryptography to prevent strategic vulnerability. Two models, two trajectories, one race. Today's quantum machines cannot break RSA, cannot run Shor's algorithm at the required scale, and cannot disrupt global encryption. Their capacity remains confined to narrow applications, specific optimization problems, material simulation, and probabilistic machine learning tasks beyond the reach of classical systems. None of this reduces the strategic risk. Intelligence agencies operate on a simple truth. Cryptography is built on assumptions about what classical computers cannot do. Quantum computing violates those assumptions. The vulnerability is temporal. Encrypted data intercepted today can be stored and decrypted in the future once hardware reaches fault-tolerant operation. Agencies call this harvest now, decrypt later, and it is already underway. The threat is not present capability. The threat is inevitability combined with slow global migration. Quantum disruption will not strike evenly. Nations with advanced research ecosystems will migrate early. Others will lag for years. Every system dependent on cryptographic integrity becomes exposed during this transition window. Defense networks, banking authentication, identity records, satellite telemetry, secure communication protocols, and industrial control systems. Western institutions are already restructuring around this risk. The NSA's updated cryptographic suite defines new standards for US national security systems. The European Union is building continental quantum communication infrastructure. Japan, Singapore, South Korea, and Australia have launched national migration frameworks. These programs are not reactions to hypothetical threats, but coordinated strategic efforts built on engineering timelines. The fracture between quantum secure and quantum vulnerable systems becomes a geopolitical fault line. Prepared nations retain autonomy. Unprepared nations lose informational sovereignty. The path toward disruption is predictable. Encrypted communication is intercepted long before it can be decrypted. Eventually, a quantum machine achieves stable error correction and becomes capable of executing Shor's algorithm at scale. Historical archives unlock first: old negotiations, military planning, intelligence operations, financial transactions. Authentication begins to degrade as digital signatures weaken. Trust fractures inside systems built on mathematical certainty. Intelligence services have modeled this sequence for years. The threat is not a cinematic collapse, but a slow erosion of confidence as authentication fails and adversaries gain retrospective visibility into decades of sensitive activity. Migration becomes the only shield. The first cryptographically relevant quantum computer remains years away. There is no credible evidence of an imminent breakthrough. But the transition to post-quantum cryptography will take a decade in advanced economies and far longer elsewhere. Financial institutions will migrate early under regulatory pressure. Defense systems will maintain parallel infrastructures. Developing nations will fall behind, creating a global security asymmetry. The geopolitical advantage will belong not to the nation that breaks encryption first, but to the nation that completes migration before disruption occurs. Preparedness becomes a strategic asset. Delay becomes exposure. The breach has not happened, but the world is already moving toward it.